Welcome to Period 1 Government and Economics class. I'd like to take a moment to introduce myself. I am Melissa Zimmerman. I have been teaching at Thunderbird for the past 15 years and have had the pleasure of teaching this class the entire time. I absolutely love working with seniors, and although this school year is starting very different, it really doesn't change at all the excitement that I have to meet each of my students. And I'd have to say that overall, I think the school year has been off to a good start. Here is my contact information. I would definitely recommend email over the phone if you're able to, and I promise to get back to you within 24 hours. I'd like to share with you a little bit about the class, kind of some of what the structure looks like and the expectations of the class. I'd like to begin with the class schedule. As you can see, we do have a different meeting time between Mondays and the rest of the week. And I do have office hours for the students to meet virtually if they would like. Otherwise, they have been very good at reaching out through email with any questions or concerns that they have. Here's what a typical class period looks like. We meet right at start time through WebEx. That's where I will set up the lesson, give out any general information, and then the students have independent work time, and then we reconvene at the end of the class period to clarify the lesson, to review a few things, and just to close out the day. I do have the WebEx meeting open, though, the entire time during the class period, so when students are working independently, if they come across any obstacles in their work, they can definitely check in with me for any help or support, and I am available for them. Here is what the schedule overall looks like for this course. Typically, we would teach government in one semester and economics in another, but because we have block schedule, we're actually teaching them in 9 weeks. So we will be done with government by fall break, and then when we return, we will do economics until winter break. Just a general overview of both of the courses is, since we do have such a short amount of time to teach them, even in a year-long schedule, teaching government in a semester or economics in a semester can be a little bit challenging. It tends to be more of a survey-style class, meaning that we cover a lot of topics, but we really don't divulge too deep into any of them in particular. So it's a range of topics that we explore, hitting all of the key concepts within the U.S. government and the state government, and then economic principles. Here's the grading scale for the class. As you can see, tests and quizzes are half of their grade. I'll, in just a moment, explain to you a policy on retakes because at first glance, seeing that it's such a hefty part for some students can be a little overwhelming. But once they understand that they do have the opportunity to retake test and quiz, it eases some of that for them. Also, we are using Canvas as our platform for delivering lessons, tests, and quizzes. So I do tell my students to make sure that they're checking their student view for their overall grade. Canvas will only give them scores on assignments and tests and feedback, but it doesn't include their overall grade. So if you'd like to see what the grade is, you can check their student view or parent view. Here's that policy on retakes, but first I'll talk about late work. In this environment, we are allowing any work that's assigned to be due up until the next day from when it's given, unless, of course, it's a larger project that takes more time. So essentially, in-class work can be due up until the next day before class. And then regarding that retake policy for tests and quizzes, they can retake as many times as they'd like if they aren't feeling good with a test score or a quiz score they received. The retake just has to be done before the next unit concludes. So essentially, a student could retake the Unit 1 test up until the end of Unit 2. But they couldn't come back in while we're in Unit 4 and say, oh, can I do that Unit 1 test? It would have been made too late. I really do strive to have clear understanding, and so we'll always let students know about these types of situations and deadlines so that we're all on the same page. Here are the expectations that I set for my students, whether we're remotely or in person. Keeping that focus, being prepared and responsible, being respectful, especially in a class like government. People have some, even, at younger ages, some pretty passionate political viewpoints, and we always want to have respect for one another. And I work hard to create that environment with my students. Also, please know that I never interject my own political stance or try to influence in any type of way. It is very, very important to me that that doesn't happen in my classroom. Always remember to be on time, and I, tell my students DTRT. I just, simply do the right thing. With seniors, I typically deal with discipline issues, but there is a plan in place in case I need to do so, and that involves parents, in that process. The school does have a discipline plan that I follow. There also is the absence and tardy policy that is implemented as well. Again, this is not something that I have to deal with that often, but know that parents are involved in the process in case there are issues within the classroom. I just wanted to share this with you as this is something that I'm really promoting, with my students, and that's simply for them to just take charge of their learning, especially being seniors, at or near adulthood. We really want to create independent learners and independent citizens. And so I tell them, advocate for yourself, ask questions, but, ensure that you're really taking the time to look through all of the information, before doing so. Also use time wisely. In this learning environment, it can be very easy to be distracted. So, really be mindful of, time and ensure that you're using it wisely. And I also tell them, that they need to take the initiative to let me know if, they're missing work, to reach out and let me know what the problem is. If they're absent and they need to know what work we missed, that they need to reach out. So, really having them advocate for themselves and having them take charge of their own education. I thank you very much for watching this video. Please know that I am always available for any questions or concerns that you may have. So please don't hesitate to email me, or again, if you prefer to call, you can do that as well and leave a message on my voicemail at the school. Otherwise, thank you again for watching this video, and take care.